So what we're starting with here is a bit of what's called verifying identities. That is, given an equation, some form of equality, we want to be able to show that it holds using information that we have. Where the main information we have, the main source of what we're working from here, is our set of fundamental identities from Chapter 4. That is our reciprocal identities for sine, cosine, tangent, secant, cosecant, and cotangent. Our quotients for tangent and cotangent in terms of sine and cosine, for cosecant and secant, along with the Pythagorean identities and the even and odd identities for our 6 trigonometric functions. What we're going to do is take the pieces that we have, the things that we're comfortable with, as it were. Comfortable may be a strong word for the moment, but we'll get there, and use that to show some things that maybe aren't obvious, to show some equalities that can be a bit subtle to see. So our first example here is going to be showing that cosecant times cosine is equal to cotangent. Well, if we want to show that cosecant times cosine is equal to cotangent, there's too many cos here, I'm trying to get ahead of myself. What we want to do is usually take the more complicated side and see if something simplifies by chasing some details around. So, well, we have cosecant times cosine. What we can do is remember that cosecant is always 1 over sine. So cosecant cosine is just 1 over sine times cosine. And 1 over sine times cosine can be rearranged, not really, but stuck together, as sine over cosine. And by our reciprocal identity, this is cotangent. And this is a pretty simple example, the type of thing we're going to see in this chapter, especially in this section, but it is illuminating for the type of problem that we're working from. We take some collection of pieces, they may be obvious what they do, they may not be so obvious. We take them, we turn them around as best we can, and we see if we can get the two sides to be equal. Where usually we start from the harder side and work towards the easier side, the more simple side, as it were. Sometimes you gotta do a little bit on both sides, but for our next example, we're going to take one a lot like this, just with a bit more meat on the proverbial bones.